Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 185 of the High Sensitivity Podcast, and thank you for listening. If it's your first time here, we talk about video game and movie news as those we watched or played over the week. My name is Barry, along with my fellow Video Game Award voters.
Ooh.
My name is Craig, dressed for the occasion, for the red carpet, the video game red carpet.
Is this what we would wear to that? We would just
Probably.
show
Now,
up
you
in,
guys
like,
have seen me dressed in a
sweatpants and
suit for the
shirts.
podcast.
That's true.
For a podcast before.
That's
I'll,
true.
I'll-
Oh, that's true.
I
That's
will,
true.
yeah.
You're the only. I don't even own a suit anymore. My name is also Craig, and I don't own a suit anymore.
I could get you a suit.
I don't want a suit.
I'll admit it's not the greatest thing, but it does feel pretty good to look, fly.
I had to
You can
wear
get,
a
like,
lot
a
of
kick-
suits when I was a kid. I don't like wearing them anymore.
You can get a Kickstarter going for a suit for Craig.
There we go.
Yeah.
Start
all the ad rev we don't get.
There you go.
It just gives us freedom to say what we want.
Exactly.
We won't be
And
tied
with-
down by the man.
Yeah, and because we're not tied down by the man, we get to talk about whatever news we want to on this podcast. So, news this week. A couple small things on my end. I mentioned it last week. Anime studio Nappa is in hot water for mistreatment of animators. The animators have kind of went on to Twitter, or X is what the kids call it now, and started. I'm gonna stay still tweeting about the mistreatment of them while animating the newest season of Jujutsu Kaisen, which is a very popular anime here in the States and everywhere else.
Mhm.
Long work hours, sleeping in the office, a lot of what we hear with video games, and crunch time. So it just seems like animators, this isn't anything new. The anime industry and animators have always seemed to be mistreated, especially with the most popular stuff that we like. And this is just the most recent thing about it. There was worried that the season was going to be canceled. It didn't release an episode this Thursday, so I'm not sure what's going on, but it's such a different thing going on, whereas we have Invincible, which is now taking a 2 or 3 month break from animating. So it's all kind of different in what crunches and everything like that, but when millions of dollars are at stake, no one cares about your well-being.
Ain't that the truth?
Yeah, that's yeah.
I don't
True
even need to
words
say
have
anything
never been
else.
spoken.
Yeah,
That was well worded.
I sometimes have those. One of the interesting things I saw is Apple Arcade is getting an exclusive Sonic game December 5th called Sonic Dream Team.
Okay.
Ooh.
This is kind of one of the first times I've seen an exclusive insert big name video game character here, and Sonic seems to be the first one. It doesn't help me that the trailer looked pretty dope. It doesn't show any gameplay; it's just an animated trailer. But I can't. I looked at it and I was like, oh, this looks cool. This looks well animated, but I have no idea what the game's about. That's what worries me. And considering you're about a week and a half away from releasing the game, as it is the 26th of this recording. Oh, also happy Thanksgiving, everybody. Should have mentioned that.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving.
But yeah,
What type of game
this
is
the
it?
future?
It
It's
almost looks like a runner.
I was wondering.
I'm looking at pictures.
It sounds like it could be a battle royale or some Monstars specific basketball game or something.
It definitely looks like a runner, like a Subway Surfers almost.
Okay. So maybe it's not. Maybe it's just like a runners with a Sonic skin on it or something like that. It seems like what it is. Though
hard
the
to
trailer looked good. Had me thinking it would be it'd be cool. And some of the pictures here, I'm okay with. It looks yeah. I have 6 months free of Apple Arcade. I'm gonna give it a shot. I really don't care.
I always enjoy my free months of Apple Arcade. There's some good games on there. I would never pay for Apple Arcade, but every time I get those, every time I get a new phone or an iPad, I'm like, oh yeah, let me catch up for the next 3 months and play all the games they've thrown on there. I think that's about 99% of the population, honestly.
Exactly, yeah. Lastly, on my end is EA Sports FC is to get a free Euro 2024 update, which is pretty cool, considering that when EA Sports and FIFA, like when the soccer or football was the FIFA game, you always got like the World Cup updates,
Hmm.
uh, and now we're getting Euro updates, which is kind of a nice like little side mode that I always enjoyed, especially whether it's Ultimate Team or just like the tournament modes that they add to it with all the national jerseys. It's a pretty cool and again free update where people will explain that DLC is almost just like a paid update sometimes these days, and it's just one of the cool things that EA Sports FC is doing. That's
I
all I
did
got.
see that. That's cool.
Yeah,
I
that is.
that's all you though. I'm not playing that game. I know better.
Well, we'll
Just pro
anxiously await
clubs.
Barry's review.
Yep.
Yeah, just pro clubs. Yeah, that's all I got.
Okay. I have two quick ones if you want to run. I'll run those down before we get into the good stuff, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay.
One I wanted to bring up was the Assassin's Creed pop up. I don't know
Yeah.
if you guys saw this or not. I thought this was hilarious. People reporting they were getting pop ups for this past weekend, I guess, in the middle of their games too. It didn't even seem like it was when they paused. It was like they would like just automatically get them, or they would press like I always say select, even though it's not a select button anymore. And they were getting pop ups for. It seems like it was the newer game, and they were getting pop ups on older games. Is that what you guys read too or
Mm-hmm.
saw?
Mhm.
Yep.
And my favorite part was the Ubisoft saying it was a glitch. We know it wasn't a glitch. Come on
Yeah.
now.
Come
Somebody
They were just
on.
programmed that
testing
in there.
testing
Come
the
on,
waters.
Ubisoft. The gaming crowd are not idiots. Like, come on.
I just like that they tried to do that. I'm like, just admit it. Like, it's been done before. We've seen it in games before where they advertise Call of Duty does it every year. Like, if
Yeah.
you try to play the old game, good luck because you got to go through 15 menus about buying the new one. So it's nothing new. Just own it. I just thought it was hilarious that they tried to say it. We didn't do it on purpose. Okay. And then the other one I wanted to bring up, speaking of Call of Duty, is we got a leak for next year's already. Black Ops Cold War, right? Or Gulf War. Black Ops
Gulf War.
Gulf War.
Golf
So we're
War.
going to the 90s,
Let's go.
baby. I'm in for that.
Yes. I was not aware of the Gulf War in the 90s as I was growing up. I knew it existed, but like it would be pretty nice to kind of go back to that time frame, especially because I was alive for it, you know.
If they do a single player campaign correctly.
Yes.
Big F. It's got to be
Wait.
a good one.
Wait, Craig, you don't want them to use Warzone maps and cut them down to size and just stick random
No.
missions like maybe Craig,
Please don't.
how are they
Please
supposed to get it done by next year?
They've had two, three. I don't even know how many years to work on this. 3, 4. I don't know the last time. When did the last Black Ops Cold War come out?
Oh yeah, when did
That
it?
was
That
like
would be
4 years ago, right?
Yeah, well, I'm thinking that would be no, that came out before Modern Warfare 2 because it was Modern Warfare Cold War, I think, and then Modern Warfare 2.
So it's been like 2 years, 3 years.
Yeah, 2 almost 3.
Okay, they've had plenty of time to at least get a decent single player. We all know multiplayer is not going to change, so just give me a decent single player and I'm in.
I'm with you.
But those are my small ones. Craig, do you have any other ones?
I just had one small one. I just kind of wanted to focus on the Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League game and how much hate it's been receiving. There was like a 20-minute gameplay video that dropped out like within the last week, and it's gotten more like dislikes than likes just across the platform. It's like the live service aspect of it, and it seems from everybody who's watching it, I took some peeks when I could, but it seems like I don't know what they're doing with it.
Yep.
Like I don't know what the end game is. And if you look at the gameplay, there's like small things that I think people who are more nerdier than myself or more of a gamer than myself would notice. Like, I don't know, Harley Quinn, because like there's a lot of traversal in the game, and it looks great when there's the traversal aspect and how the city looks and such like that. But you got Harley Quinn using like Batman gadgets to traverse.
Yep.
And like, I mean, I don't know the full lore. I haven't read every Batman comic, but I mean, there's small things that you can pick at with each character that doesn't make it seem like it's the actual like full representation or recreation of that character. So the date is locked in on the 2nd. it's
I don't know.
still, I'm surprised we haven't heard a yet another like, hey, we messed up. We really want to kind of see where this goes. But they've also been pouring a lot of money into this game because I mean it's Suicide Squad and they've been working on it for I don't know how many years at this point. I feel like it's been a while.
Mhm.
So something to watch. Not the video of the gameplay. I don't recommend our viewers and listeners watch that, but just something to watch down the line because I like. I mean, I'm like anybody else. I like a little bit of drama, and like this is one of those things that has been like not top news, but something to just kind of keep an eye on. It's just kind of how badly it's the showing is still for that game. So
You know what's
just something.
funny is like I think the story part of it is very intriguing to me.
Yeah.
Like it sounds awesome. Where it's
Mhm.
like, oh man, all the superheroes have been mind controlled and they're all bad. That sounds cool to me. Like, let me fight Flash and Superman and Aquaman and all that. So like, I'm still interested. I just think the gameplay is not what I was expecting. It looks very arcade shooter almost, whereas I was expecting more of like a Batman style game, I guess.
You
Um,
and the rest of the entire planet, Craig,
right.
besides the people developing this game.
But
'Cause I,
like on the side note though, like Barry and I both enjoyed the Avengers game, and that was a live service game, like at least the
Well,
single player. You know
what?
what
yeah,
I
and
mean?
yeah, and I
Go ahead.
also think that they could take a page out of like Guardians of the Galaxy book. That
Yep.
Yes.
game had no right being as good as it was, and it was great.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
One of our
Mm-hmm.
favorites of that year. And
Yes.
I just feel like we haven't heard anything about whether or not that game or the Guardians of the Galaxy game did like what it needed to do financially.
Right.
But I just wish that, like, one, the story is in place, it has what it needs, but
Hmm.
all the live service stuff seems to be what's holding the game back. And again, it can be good. Like, we enjoyed the Avengers multiplayer. I don't know why it's getting as much hate, to be
Yeah.
to be honest. I feel like everybody, games of the past have all done this live service stuff, and yeah, Avengers wasn't received that well
Right.
of overall, because they, that game's now, I think the service is even done for
Yeah.
it. But
Yeah.
they really need to this game really needs to land for them,
It does.
and you can't keep delaying it, or you just end up in a skull and crossbones or skull
Yeah.
and bones
Yep.
mess
Game of the
there.
year when it
So
comes
it
out.
needs to come out at some point. I don't know. I'm just more or less, let's just hold all of our opinions really maybe until the game comes out.
Yeah.
I agree.
Maybe there's more to it than the trailer just shows, but um and maybe like Kevin Conroy maybe wouldn't lend his talents to this Batman if he thought maybe the game was going to be terrible. Like,
Yeah.
his death was also sudden and everything like that, but he didn't he knows something about the game, or knew something about the game that maybe we didn't.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I'm going to be getting the game for like that, for one of those sole reasons, the fact that, it's one of Kevin Conroy's last stints as Batman, or
Yeah.
is, I think, the last stint as
That
Batman.
reason alone,
Yep.
actually, it's like a playable collector's item at this point.
I
Um,
agree.
and
So
you
just
know
have
what?
some fun.
I agree with the both of you too in terms of the story. I'm kind of excited to see where that goes. I mean, you can't not be intrigued, fighting Flash, fighting Batman, who are not in full control of their minds, So we'll
Yeah.
see where it goes. It's probably just receiving that residual hate from the initial trailer because that kind of you have to buy yourself back for the community when you drop a trailer and it was that poorly received. It takes a while to kind of crawl back out of that, So
Yep.
that's probably also what's coming into play.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to give it a fair shot when it comes out. 100%.
But yeah, that's all I
All
got.
right. With that being said, we are now going to get into the most anticipated
Yes.
section of voting from
Dun,
our
dun, dun,
podcast
dun.
here. Just so everybody's aware, these are not our game awards that we're doing right here. We are voting on Jeff Keighley's very popular The Gaming Award nominees.
Yep.
So overall, I have the selection here. I'm gonna go ahead and read them all out and what the event category is, and we'll decide as a team what we want,
Yeah, yeah.
or what we think should win. So I think we start off with the most exciting one of them all, because who needs Game of the Year when you have Best Esports Event of the Year?
Let's
Yep.
go.
Agreed.
We have. I'm gonna forgo the years because they're all 2023. But it's either the League of Legends World Championship, Last TV Paris Major. I have no idea what that is. um, Evo, the International Dota 2 Championships, and Valorant Championships. I've at least heard of the other four, but Blast.TV Paris Major, I
I
have.
don't know what that is. Let me
But
check.
yeah, what were they playing for? Is this like Overwatch? Like I know there's competitive Overwatch.
Blast.tv Paris Major.
Is it like a
Um,
compilation of games that are
is
played?
an offline French global. Oh, it's CS:GO.
Okay, it's CS:GO. Yeah, I do see that
Oh,
now.
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. Yeah, it was a
Oh,
CS:GO. The only
Okay.
one out of those that I watch is Evo, so that would be my vote. Make it simple.
Yeah, I
and
don't
I
have.
watch and I watch a little bit of League of Legends.
Yeah, see,
Okay.
I don't have that much stake in Acclaim because I don't really watch esports as much as I should in terms of competitions.
Hmm.
Um, but I mean, I know how. I mean, I'm kind of leaning towards League of Legends with my zero knowledge, but
Sure.
You were the tie-breaking vote, so
There we go.
we'll
League of
go
okay.
with
Legends.
that. Yep, League of Legends. There. All right. Let's see here. And again, what is an esports team without best esports coach of the year? Um, we have
Sure.
Christine Potter Chi, coach of Evil Genius Valorant. Danny Zonic Sorensen from Team Falcons of Counter Strike. Jordan Goonba Graham, Florida Mayhem Overwatch. Remy XTQZZZ, uh, Team Vitality of Counter Strike, and Yon Homi Song Yong. I'm sorry if I butchered the name. JD Gaming, League of Legends.
I could care less.
I'm gonna go with Christine Potter, Chi. I do like that there is a woman on this list, so I kind of wanted to show her some love as well. She also looks like a very fun coach. I know that is the particular picture that they captured for her, but she looks like she's a very enthusiastic coach that loves her team. So
All
There
right,
you go.
sure. Now, what is the coach
Oh my
without their
god.
team?
oh god.
Best esports team. Evil Geniuses for Valorant, Fnatic for Valorant, Gaiman Gladiators or Gaiman Gladiators for Dota 2, JD
Gaiman.
Gaming of League of Legends, and Team Vitality of Counter Strike.
Again, I could care less.
I have a
I,
Fnatic keyboard.
Okay. I don't.
that would help. That would help.
Yep.
I guess Fanatics in the league right now, Barry.
Yep, Fnatic. Yep, Fnatic wins. All right. Now, what is a team without
Oh
their
dear.
best player?
Oh my
You
Best
god.
practice
esports
this?
athlete. You know what's funny is I didn't practice any of this. I'm just working my way backwards from there. I'm actually surprised of how good this is going so far.
Yep.
Uh,
I want to see
Lee,
how you transition to the next one, but go ahead.
yeah, Lee Faker Sang Hyok from League of Legends, Matthew Zaiwu Herbo from CS:GO, Max Demon One Mazanov from Valorant. I actually heard about this guy. I'm not sure. Um, Paco Hydra Rusiwez, Call of Duty, Park Ruler Jehuk from League of Legends, and Philip Imperial Hall Dozen from Apex Legends.
Sick.
I mean, I would vote Apex just because
Yeah,
Apex.
because
But
there's at least a little bit of
Yeah.
representation there.
Mhm.
There we go.
Okay.
Not arguing with that.
Now, what is the player, the coach, the team? What is all of that
Here
without
we
a
go.
platform to play it on? Best
Okay, let's do it.
esports game.
Here we go.
Counter Strike 2, Dota 2, League of Legends, PUBG Mobile, and
Yes.
Valorant.
Ooh.
You sound like a PUBG Mobile fan.
No, I just think it's funny it's on there. That's big
Yeah.
overseas though. PUBG
Yeah.
Mobile.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, for me, I guess Counter Strike.
I would
I-
go Counter Strike as well.
I'm going Counter
Yep.
Strike as well.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely going Counter Strike.
Now, what is that esports if it's not for the creators that bring these games to
Oh my
life?
god.
Content creator of the year. Iron Mouse, popular VTuber, People Make Games, PMG, Quackity, Spreen, and Cypher PK.
You know what's hilarious is
What's
every
hilarious,
year when
Greg?
content creator nominees come out, I feel like I watch a decent amount of content creators. There's never a single one on the list I know. Ever.
Yeah.
Not one time.
I know Iron Mouse.
I don't.
I've heard of Iron Mouse, but I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you any video that I've watched ever of Iron
And
Mouse.
I guess I feel like the ones I watch tend to be more, I guess, mainstream, right? If you think about it, because I tend to stick to like the Doctor Disrespects, the Tim the Tap
Mhm.
Man, but you never see them on there. They try to pick like the not like major content
Yeah,
creators, which
and
which I appreciate.
I'm always
Yeah.
surprised. Like, I do listen to MinMax still
Hmm.
and things like that. Like, I'm always surprised to see not them.
Right.
Nothing for like Game Informer, who historically has a big presence in journalism and gaming stuff.
Hmm.
Mhm.
But yeah, like the only people that I've heard of on this list are Iron Mouse and Quaxity. Um,
Quaxity.
Quack quack. I don't
do,
know,
do
and I don't
I was
care.
about to say, do we have a favorite? Does somebody? Am I making this decision?
Yeah, it's kind of like when you meet somebody's friend and you're like, well, if they're friends with you, they're all right in my book. I'll go Iron Mouse.
Yep,
Yeah,
Iron
sure,
Mouse
why not?
too. I have that. All right, Iron Mouse. All right, next up is what is a content creator if they don't have a game to play that is anticipated? Most
Yes.
anticipated game.
I think we
Okay.
know this one, guys.
We
Maybe.
have Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hades 2, Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Star Wars Outlaws, and Tekken 8.
Do you guys feel
Uh
like this list is a little weak?
Kinda, yeah.
Um, it is, but like, how many?
There's other games out there that are coming out next year that are big.
Hmm.
I mean, the answer is Final Fantasy. Let's be honest.
The answer is Final Fantasy.
Yep.
It
I'm just
is,
saying,
but
there's
but
other
you pose
games
a
you
good
could have been
question,
there.
Craig.
But I bet you Hades wins.
Well, like,
Hades is
so here's
okay.
my thing about Hades 2 is like, what are you going, like, Hades was just so popular and
Yeah.
was such a good game. What do you do to like I have more questions about Hades 2 than my anticipation for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I just don't know how you change the game up in a way
Right.
that's different enough that it's not just another Hades. Like, that's
I
kind
don't
of the
think you
problem I feel
can.
with roguelikes
Yeah.
is that, the story aspect of roguelikes, was a very light portion of Hades. Uh but yeah, how do you make the story more apparent in a roguelike? Main thing there. All
Right.
right. We voted for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Yes.
Oh, most definitely.
Now there's the first A of games anticipation, and now the next A of games is best adaptation.
Got it.
Is what you go with next.
Hmm.
And we have Castlevania Nocturne, we have Gran Turismo, The Last of Us, the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and Twisted Metal. Me personally, like it's probably between the Super Mario Bros. Movie and The Last of Us. Like, those two made
Hmm.
ridiculous amounts of money, but I actually kind of prefer Nocturne or Gran Turismo as some of the smaller titles that did a
See,
better.
in my head, I look at it as like I would like it to be Gran Turismo because I think it deserves it because
Hmm.
it had no business being that good. But the same could be said for Twisted Metal as well.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, out of all of those, the one we were all the most hyped on was The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually wondering what both of you guys would say in this moment, because of the Gran Turismo effect,
Yeah.
that the movie had on you. So, I mean, my vote's The Last of Us.
Yeah.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I
Um,
think everybody votes The Last of Us. And that is what we do vote for. But I guess the main thing is just the fact that probably the Super Mario Bros. Movie wins because of like the impact it really did have on movie theaters and how much money that
that's a good
It did
point.
make a lot of money. Yeah.
that movie made. And also, it's not a bad movie.
No.
So some would say adaptation, you need to adapt to the multiplayer portion
Mhm.
of gaming. So
Okay.
now we are on the best multiplayer. I'm really stretching this, but I'm going to continue trying.
You're doing
Yeah,
all right though.
I like it.
Yep.
Best multiplayer games, we have Baldur's Gate 3, Diablo 4, Party Animals, Street Fighter 6, and Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
Can I just say these are all such different games?
They
Yeah.
really are.
Come
They really
on.
are. This is where
Come on.
in my opinion, not that I agree with it, but this is where I think we're going to see Baldur's Gate start to clean up, like the progressing categories. I would go Super Mario Wonder personally because I haven't played Baldur's Gate, but you know,
Yeah, I guess my main thing is Baldur's Gate 3 isn't necessarily, at least at the startup, was not the smoothest multiplayer experience.
mhm.
It doesn't really explain like what's going on sometimes, and then sometimes you have a cutscene, your partner doesn't, and they don't know what's going on.
Okay.
So you have to click buttons and stuff like that. That's why I'm more along the lines of, I'd almost go Diablo 4 or Street Fighter 6.
Diablo 4 is hated.
Okay, it's hated.
It is.
I don't hate it, but people do hate it.
People do
Okay.
hate it. We can
This is
eliminate
based on
party
us, though.
animals.
Party Animals was fun, but yeah, I agree.
Yeah, we can just take that out to help.
Mm-hmm. And I think like we should base it on what we would pick, not what we think would win. Right? Because I think personally, I think this is Baldur's Gate's probably going to win this because I feel like this is kind of a weak category with what they picked.
Yes.
But I had fun with Diablo. I had fun with Super Mario. You guys both enjoyed Baldur's Gate. But if you don't think it's a good multiplayer experience,
I didn't. Yeah, that's what I mean. I wasn't the biggest fan of the multiplayer experience for Baldur's Gate. So
I mean, I'm okay. I'm okay with not selecting Baldur's Gate for every category if we really want to make, because especially if you didn't enjoy. I didn't play Baldur's Gate multiplayer yet.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
it's
okay.
So
I like. Okay, you know what? We're gonna go Wonder here. I have played a couple games of like Super Mario Bros. Wonder with a friend that was here, and we had fun with it, and it ran pretty smoothly. So we're gonna do that.
Wonder's a good pick.
Wonder.
It's not going to win anything else.
Yeah, Wonder needs to win some stuff here.
Yep.
All right, best sport. So let's see here. Multiplayer is a lot like sports in a way. You have a team, so now we're gonna vote on the best sports/racing game.
Okay.
We have EA Sports FC 24, F1 23, Forza Motorsport, Hot Wheels 2 Turbocharged, and The Crew Motorfest. So.
Okay. So I think Forza had issues.
Yeah.
With the AI. F1 is always a good game, but I never play it.
Yep.
My personal pick would be The Crew because I thought it was better than it had any right to be.
And I'm also voting for The Crew because, like, don't get me wrong, I did like FFC 24, but once you get past the bright lights and colors, it is much the same FIFA game.
I will agree with you too. Obviously, I'm not the racing portion of this podcast group. What I will say as a caveat is, for some reason, I think we should all try Hot Wheels racing because I hear it's a blast. And I wouldn't be surprised if it won, like in the actual awards show.
It's real good.
Yeah, I heard it's amazing. I heard the second one even built even more.
The first one's on. It was on Game Pass. I don't know if it still is, but it was. It's a fun game. You get so many different licensed cars, Hot Wheels. It's insane. It's so much fun. I love that game to death. So what do we pick? Are we picking The Crew?
We should pick The Crew.
Or do you want to pick Hot Wheels? Okay. I just really like The Crew. It was different. I mean, it's kind of like Forza Horizon, but it was still different. All right. Tie in the next one.
Yeah, so when it comes to best sports games, there's a lot of strategy that goes into sports that people don't see. This is the best sim/strategy game.
Okay.
We have Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp, City Skylines 2, Company of Heroes 3, Fire Emblem Engage, and Pikmin 4. So
I'll let you guys fight. My pick is for Advance Wars.
Barry, I know what I'm choosing.
We're going City Skylines 2. right?
Oh heck no! Who has a computer that can play that?
Also, it's been terrible since launch.
I've
Yeah.
heard.
You can play it on the Xbox as well. If
Did
you
you
really
see the
want to.
spec? The spec once? Did we talk about the spec expectancy? The expectancy, get it on this
We did
podcast?
not, but it's up there.
It's up there.
I will be honest with you guys. I'm okay with either, like Fire Emblem Engage or Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp.
You guys fight it out.
I think we should engage in giving Fire Emblem Engage an award. Is this the only category it's up for?
Probably, and it's going to be the same thing for Advance Wars 1+2 Reboot Camp. Like that's my struggle is both of these games where Advance Wars took a long time to come out. They did a very faithful remaster of it, and it is a fresh take, but also like Fire Emblem Engage. Like
here's a little foreshadowing. Here's a little Game of the Year foreshadowing. If this argument comes up, a good argument against Advanced Wars is the fact that it's just a reboot. Because I know we might discuss that about Resident Evil 4. It's a very faithful adaptation of Resident Evil 4. So I don't know. We could go ahead.
Where's Persona 5 Tactica on this list?
Probably
did it come out too late.
No, it's never too late. They can throw that in there. They've played it before it came out. Let's be honest.
Are we voting Persona 5 Tactica? No,
I
would if it was on there.
Yeah, same here.
I would as well.
So, do we abstain? Is that what we're doing?
Persona 5 Tactica.
Okay, Persona 5 Tactica.
Right in. We're writing it in.
Right in ballot.
I like it. You can't stop us.
Yeah, you can't silence us.
I voted for the next closest thing, which is Fire Emblem.
That's fair.
Yeah,
I'm okay with Fire Emblem.
Yeah, they're pretty both anime. Like, if we're voting congruency here, a vote for Fire Emblem is a vote for Persona 5 Tactica.
Do it. I like it.
So when it comes to strategy and sim, we always need a lighter side of gaming that people don't, always, see or use as much. That's why we're voting next for best family game. Because it doesn't always need to be about strategy or multiplayer or story. Sometimes it's about the family. Fast and Furious style.
Yes.
So the nominees here are Disney Island Illusion.
Oof, I can't.
Party Animals. Pikmin 4. Sonic Superstars. And Super Mario Bros. Wonder.
I remember hearing, without playing Sonic Superstars, that it did have an issue if you're doing multiplayer and somebody
we weren't picking Sonic Superstars.
Okay,
I can tell you that right now.
All right, well, we have 4 left now.
Well, no, it's pretty much down to 2.
I would take either Mario Wonder or Disney Island of Illusion because they're both great. I think Mario's probably the better game, but the fact that they made a Mickey Mouse Metroidvania is hilarious to me, and the fact that it works is crazy. But Mario's an incredible game as well. Those are my picks. Either one.
I'll go with Wonder.
Okay.
Going with Wonder then.
Just because it doesn't deserve to be on some of the other lists that we're going to see it on after this.
True.
Yeah, I just Disney Illusion Island, like just to give that game like its proper due. It is not only is it like just kind of a Disney game, but like the hand drawn animation like portion of this thing, it looks spectacular.
Yep.
That's saying a lot for a Switch game too, considering it.
It really is.
Switch tends to look the most aged of all the consoles as of right now. You guys think we get a Switch 2 announcement at the Game Awards here?
I think so.
Yeah.
So when you're done, sometimes family, you just don't get along. So it's the best fighting game. You need to get it out of you.
Okay.
That's a good point.
God of Rock, Mortal Kombat 1, Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl 2, Pocket Bravery, and Street Fighter 6. Mortal Kombat 1.
I would also pick Mortal Kombat.
You guys read my mind. I thought we were going to have to fight about that. Wow. Okay.
Nope. Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat, that's easy enough. That game
is a win.
Yeah.
The game's incredible.
Yeah. So sometimes you just can't fight, with your friends. Sometimes you need to fight in an open world landscape where you're leveling up and
Mm.
you're playing as someone else.
Hmm.
So we will vote next on best RPG game
Oh, this is gonna be a good one.
or best RPG. Why did I
Here we,
say
here we
game
go.
after it? We have Baldur's Gate 3, Final Fantasy 16,
Oh man.
Lies of P,
Oh,
Sea of Stars,
I know.
man.
and
Oh, man.
Starfield.
It's
Oh,
taking
man.
everything in me not to choose Starfield right now. Not to
See, yeah. So, like, what I wanted to say is, like, so out of all of these four, I would take Starfield, the piece of paper, crumble it into a little ball, and just
Yeet.
Kobe that into the trash bucket. Um, so
Oh
that at least
man.
takes us down to four. This is very difficult, and a portion for me here is so I'll get mine out of the way. I personally am going Final Fantasy 16. But I'll keep thinking, keep doing your thoughts, let them all come to your head.
So for me, it's between Lies of P
Yeah.
and Final Fantasy 16.
I really like Sea of Stars too. But that ending sucked.
It didn't stick the yeah. Lies
Yeah.
of P stuck the landing. Final Fantasy 16 definitely stuck the landing as well.
Here's the thing. My first initial thought is like, man, Liza P doesn't get nominated enough for things. But
And I would be okay with Lies of P
but
voting for Lies of
but
P. But
I didn't nothing to what comparing those two games. There was nothing in Liza P that translates to the feelings I got in some of those Final Fantasy boss battles.
That's fair.
Right?
That's
Like
fair.
Liza
yeah,
P is great. And there's some good moments in Liza P, but it is a Souls game. And some of those boss battles in Final Fantasy 16 where you're just like, I don't
They
even know what's going
affected.
on screen, but it's so many
Yeah.
flashing lights, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. I would go Final Fantasy on this one.
That uh, that description, Craig, has swayed me
Okay.
to stay with, because like you just made me remember how Final Fantasy 16 made me feel. Like
Yep.
that was our summer fling, guys. That was
It
the,
was.
like we felt we that was the summer for us, man. We went back to school in September and we were like, man, I wish I missed the summer. Like that was what Final Fantasy 16 did.
That was a great week of playing that game.
Oh
yeah,
my
that was
god. Every boss battle was just trumped the last one. You were like, wow,
Yep.
man, I really, I really like this one. And then it's just like, oh, here's Bahamut. And you're like, oh my God, Bahamut, right? And then you're like,
Yep.
well, wait, there's more.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Final Fantasy 16. It is for us then. So RPGs are such big games, and I think a lot of what we can start to boil it down to is instead of what just makes an RPG an RPG, let's focus on the best action and adventure
Okay.
that we all experienced this year, which the nominees are Alan Wake 2, Marvel's Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay, but Alan Wake and Resident Evil should be a horror category.
There should be, and there's not. You are
Because
right.
it's I understand why they're throwing them in there, but like make a horror category, because not only did you have those two, but you also had the Dead Space remake this year.
Mm-hmm.
You can make that category.
Yeah.
I just don't think they belong in action adventure because they're not action adventure games; they're horror games. The answer to me is Spider-Man. I'm just putting that out there, but I love those two games, Resident Evil and Alan Wake, but to me they're not action adventure games.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even in the description, for the best action and adventure puzzle game combining combat with traversal and puzzle solving, like when I voted myself, I don't know if we should bring our own votes in here, but I read that line multiple times and I was like, but what was more puzzly?
Yeah,
Like puzzle with
yeah,
traversal, what had the good combination of both? Because Spider-Man was a very family-friendly puzzle-solving type of game, but
mm-hmm.
like, that's why you don't read into this too much. You let your heart decide. Try, don't read the
Right.
description and mull over it.
Right.
I'm fine with it being Spider-Man 2. You're right. There should be a horror category because, like, I was actually leaning towards Resident Evil 4 because I wanted to give it something.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. I just don't. Something feels wrong about picking a horror game in an action adventure category to me.
You're right.
I don't know.
Even though there is action and adventure in horror games, it should have its own category.
It should.
Yeah, I'm okay with again either of these two winning, whether it's Spider-Man 2 or Resident Evil 4. I just go with like the puzzle solving aspect. Like it would be more along the lines of Resident Evil 4. You think
Mhm.
between these two, there isn't a lot of puzzle that goes on with Spider-Man 2, at least in my
What
eyes.
about those? What about those plants and stuff?
Well, that's what I'm
Putting
saying.
together
Like,
the chromosomes and all that. There's some puzzles in there.
yeah,
I
There
did
is
a lot
some.
of that.
there is a little
There's
puzzling. Yeah,
there
Yep.
is some. Okay,
I'm saying Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2 then.
let's go. Let's keep it.
So next up, we're just going to completely take the adventure out of it and just go best action. That's the
Okay.
segue.
They have 2 action categories, but no horror category.
Correct.
So best action game, and for the best action game in an action or the best game in action genre, primarily focused on combat, we have Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon, Dead Island 2, because I feel like they had to throw that in there somehow.
Yeah, we
Yep.
could just take that out. It's not. I've played it 1.5 times. It's not. It doesn't deserve to be on this list. Sorry. Continue.
Ghost Runner 2,
Ooh.
Hi-Fi Rush,
Mhm.
Remnant 2. Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Hi-Fi Rush.
Yep.
Hands down.
Yep.
This game better win something, or else
Better.
Jeff Keighley's going to find me storming the stage.
Yeah, I agree.
The last thing he'll see will be Barry.
So when it comes to action and adventure, what better place to play those games than in a VR/AR section?
Yes.
We're going for best VR/AR game, and we have Gran Turismo 7, Horizon Call of the Mountain, Humanity, Resident Evil Village VR mode, Synapse.
Resident Evil.
Thank you.
Resident Evil.
Thank you.
I do want to personally say, like, it's kind of hard also because you have Gran Turismo 7 and Horizon. You need a whole different machine to play. I think it's the same thing with Resident Evil Village. Don't get me wrong, we're still voting for it, and this will be the one that we pick for. But this is just, again, like, we're sort of getting into the whole, like, exclusivity conversation again, where it's like, people shouldn't have to buy 2 different VR systems in order to experience some of these games. Like, consoles are expensive as is. Shouldn't have to buy 2 different headsets or 3 different headsets to have these experiences.
How many people have you heard say, "Man, you got to try the Horizon climbing game"? Because
Well,
I haven't heard a single.
I wanted to
person.
try it.
I would say
at least.
It essentially too is a climbing simulation to show how well the PSVR headset was. As
Yep.
like that's what it seemed like to me as well. It's just like, look what we can do.
Agreed.
So when you're not at home and you don't have your next VR headset on, and we're going to talk about next the games we play on our phones when we're on the go, when we can't be tied to a cable or tied to a charging dock. We're going to go with the games we play on our phone. And these are Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis, Hello Kitty Island Adventure,
Craig's favorite
Honkai
game.
Star Rail, Monster Hunter Now, and Terranil.
Can I confess something to you guys and to our audience?
You're obsessed with Honkai, aren't you?
There is about 60 hours, 40 to 60 hours in there. It's the game that I play while I'm watching TV with my wife now. I just play it on the computer with a controller. It's fantastic. It's a fantastic game. I'm sorry.
I assume that's what you guys were going to pick because I haven't played any of these.
Yep.
I recommend Honkai Star Rail to anybody who likes that.
Touch it. You won't catch me dead on that game. I know better.
It's a great game.
No, it's not.
I'm so
Moving
embarrassed.
along.
I'm so
Moving
embarrassed.
along.
Much like the experimental place that is the mobile game slash VR games, we're now going to go into best indie games. Small teams, small developers, with some of the best experiences. Where we have Cocoon, Dredge, Pizza Tower, Venba, and Viewfinder.
I know what Craig's gonna pick.
Dredge is an amazing game. I'm sorry.
So is
It
Pizza
is.
Tower.
Pizza Tower, I hear, is amazing too, and I
Pizza
have to
Tower's
play it.
real good. It's real good. Barry, break the tie.
Break the
Pizza
tie, Barry.
Tower.
Pizza Tower,
Hey,
I'm okay with it.
Pizza Tower. Game's
I'm okay
great.
with it.
Like that. Like one thing I will say is this game is missing. What was that game that came out earlier this year? Like, Diver Steve, Scuba
Dave the
Steve,
Diver in the next
Dave the
category,
Diver.
Diver. Yep.
which is in the
That's
next.
that
Yep.
should be in this.
I agree.
I'm not sure why it's not, but regardless, Jeff Keighley says so. So, best independent game, much like when it comes to the eyes of gaming, it is independent and indie. Very,
Sure.
very to the similar of the
It's
routes,
the
but
same
best.
thing.
Yeah, again, best independent game, we have Cocoon racking up its second nomination, Dave the Diver, Dredge with a second nomination, Sea of Stars with a second nomination, and Viewfinder with a second nomination.
Dave
I
the
am
Diver.
I am either for Dave the Diver or Sea of Stars, and Craig might also be for Dredge.
I I love Dredge. I also do really like Dave the Diver and played about 10 to 15 hours of that. And I love what Sea of Stars did for every classic RPG bone in my body,
Yep.
which is the kid in me. So,
But the ending sucked.
but the ending sucked. But I don't know, man. Like I still want Sea of Stars to receive some type of accolade for what they've done. Um,
Yep.
Well, I guess the accolade is the money they received.
yeah,
True.
that could be seen as an accolade. I'm okay with Dave or Sea of Stars as well. I would say if I could put it to a percentage, I'm 51 C, 49 Dave.
Let's do Sea of Stars then. I like that game. I just thought the ending was bad. I mean, I played
Okay,
through it all.
I'm voting for Sea of Stars.
Boom. It wins something.
Now, what is an independent or indie game without the community behind it, the gamers that play these games? And this is where things get a little interesting, I guess.
Yeah.
Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Destiny 2,
Oh, no.
Final Fantasy 14, and No Man's Sky, which feels like it's been in every single the Game Awards for some
Yep.
sort of thing. Like no
In
one
this
like
category.
it's
Is
always,
anybody still playing No Man's Sky?
There are
Well,
people playing it. It's
they have
because they
Starfield
keep
now. What's the need for No Man's Sky?
I'm
and
voting
like,
Cyberpunk.
but I'm voting Cyberpunk because it is the No Man's Sky now of games. They took it, they spent how many millions to fix it. They were very sorry, and you could see in the money they spent to fix it.
Agreed.
Phantom
I'm
Limit
with
is really,
Cyberpunk.
really darn good too.
Yeah.
So, in order for the community to talk about your game, it has to be also ongoing. Best ongoing game. We have Apex Legends, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and Genshin Impact.
You know what? I'm going Fortnite.
I'm actually also going Fortnite here.
No build mode. Going
The no
back
build
to
mode.
going back
Yep.
to the original. Yeah, man. Fortnite.
Let's go Fortnite.
I like it. I actually played Fortnite this year.
Same here.
Same.
I didn't play Apex as much. That's for sure.
Yeah, same for me as well. So you need people to play your games. So best ongoing, best community. It's games for impact. Games that make the community think. Games that challenge your brain.
Like Fortnite.
Well, Fortnite's not in this one.
And Dave the Diver.
Yes. Yes, of course.
We have A Space for the Unbound, Chance of Sinar,
Oh,
Goodbye Volcano High, Tchia, Terra Nil, and Venba.
Tachia, baby.
I played Tachia for 2 hours.
That game's sweet.
I'm
It's a fun
okay
game.
with it.
I agree. I'm with Tchia as well.
That's on PlayStation Plus.
Hmm. It does have a wonderful story behind it too.
Mm-hmm.
So, in order for your game to be impactful, you need people to play it, right?
Sure.
And that would
Right.
include the need to put in accessibility into video
Oh.
games.
Mm-hmm.
Innovation in
Last
accessibility.
of Us wins again. What?
Diablo 4, Forza Motorsport, Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Mortal Kombat 1, Street Fighter 6.
Okay.
Yeah.
Spider-Man jumped out at me.
Hear me out.
Let's hear him out.
There is a person who competes at Evo in Mortal Kombat who is blind.
That is true.
So the fact that he can do that because of the accessibility options of Mortal Kombat, I would say Mortal Kombat.
I mean, can we really even say anything? I can't. Is there a counter argument to that? I don't have one.
Not so much. Like
Spider-Man's good.
Yeah, like Sony also has been kind of known for their recent like
Yep.
innovations in accessibility as of late. That's why Craig joked about the Last of Us there. Marvel Spider-Man, like none of these games feel like they break the like kind of were
Right.
big in the accessibility change here. I'm even surprised like Hi-Fi Rush. I'm not like don't get me wrong, I love that game, but their accessibility was turning off the like the music mode where you have to match it in order
Yeah.
to do it, which I thought was it's a little strange here. We're voting for Mortal Kombat 1 because I also
Sure.
agree with the blind player there, and because Sony has put a lot of detail into their innovation stuff or accessibility, so it doesn't surprise me
Mhm.
there. Man, how do I
You
can't.
got it. You've done so well.
I know, but the major thing is like what we do as a podcast, like it's all about, we're for everyone, and these people in these games did the best performance that everyone could enjoy. There's no need
Okay.
for accessibility. It's all about the performance
Okay.
that they put on. In which we have Ben
Sure.
Starr, voice for Clive of Final Fantasy 16. Cameron Monaghan. He is what's his name? Cal? Yeah.
He's Cal.
Yeah,
Cal
Cal.
Kestis.
Cal
Yeah,
Kestis.
that's what it is. Yeah. Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We have Idris Elba in his role in Cyberpunk 2077. Melanie Libbard in Alan Wake 2.
AKA Saga.
Neil Newborn in Baldur's Gate 3. And Yuri Lowenthal for Marvel Spider-Man 2.
So Yuri was Craven.
No, Yuri's Peter.
Yuri's Peter. I'm sorry. I just had to double check.
Peter. Yep.
I have a hard time turning away from Ben Starr. Myself might be a little bit of a fanboy regarding that because of Final Fantasy. I mean, Clive was a pretty great character. I was having trouble choosing between that and Saga, to be honest.
I don't even think it's close. I think Saga's better.
Okay.
I like Clive. Don't get me wrong. I think he did a great job with Clive, but I think there's more. I think you could put either one of the characters from Alan Wake, and they did more emotionally.
Yeah, for me, it's either Melanie, and that's with
Mhm.
even without playing Alan Wake 2, or it's Yuri. I have never seen more of a campaign for Yuri in as of late here. Like my TikTok is filled with Yuri voice acting clips. from this game.
He did a good
So,
job.
Mhm.
I'm a-okay with I am a-okay with either. I also like it's hard for me to remember like how old he is. He voiced Sasuke in Naruto.
Yeah.
Like it's insane.
He's got
Uh
quite the vocal range.
yeah. So I was gonna go with you're for Melanie, I'm for Yuri, I think in this particular point. Craig, you've played both games.
You can
And
stick with Clive. We could flip a coin or something.
I'm okay. So like I'm okay with Saga because when I first saw this category, my eyes gravitated towards Ben Starr
Yeah.
and Melanie. So Saga's an incredible character with a lot
Mhm.
of performed depth,
Right.
which is what we want, in our performances. So I'm okay with being the tiebreaker as Saga.
All right. I'm not gonna fight.
so yeah, no, so we're voting for Melanie there. And what is a performance without the audio
Ooh.
around said performance?
Mhm.
Best audio design, we have Alan Wake 2, Dead Space,
Wake.
Yep.
Hi-Fi Rush, Marvel Spider-Man 2, or Resident Evil 4.
Ugh.
Yeah, for me, it was between Alan Wake 2 and Dead Space.
Wake.
I think it's Alan Wake.
Wake.
Dead Space was good, and so was Resident Evil 4. But
Yeah, it was.
it's Alan Wake.
It's Alan Wake.
Man,
Alan Wake.
the audio just messes with you the whole game.
Well, and they're really good at doing that. Like the
Mhm.
3-1 Remedy is really good at
Remedy,
doing
yep.
that. Like I told you guys, like I've been trying to play through Control. I haven't played it in a couple in about a week now, but like even in Control, the audio is like messing with my head already with
Yeah.
headphones on. It's kind of nuts. And when you combine with like audio design, it's not just the creaks, it's not just the gunshots, it's about the orchestra behind the the game as well. Best score in music, which then leaves us with Alan Wake 2 composer Petri Alanko, Baldur Gate 3's composer Borislav Slavov, Final Fantasy 16 composer Masayoshi Soken. Oh, man, I nailed that.
Mhm.
Hi-Fi
You did.
Rush audio director Shuichi Kobori, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom, composed by Nintendo Sound Team. Man, that name was boring to say. Man,
I would lean towards Final Fantasy.
Yes.
yeah,
All right.
Yes.
So the first thing I jumped to was, and I'm not going to say why, but Craig will know why. The first thing I jumped to was Alan Wake
Mhm.
for music, and you know why.
I know why.
But I think overall, I think Final Fantasy has like you can buy that on a vinyl and put that on a vinyl, and you just went from cleaning your house in 2 hours to 45 minutes because you're going to be so pumped up. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Like that's a good soundtrack. That's a real
yeah,
good soundtrack.
yeah. Final Fantasy
It slaps.
16
Yeah.
is by far like some of the best music I'd heard in a long time.
Yep.
And Square Enix is really damn good at that stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yep. Agreed.
So while we have like performances and we have really good music and sound effects, but what is all of that without a canvas to put the art onto?
Okay.
Best art direction. Alan Wake 2, Hi-Fi Rush, Lies of P, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
I'm telling you right now, it's Alan Wake 2 is an insanely strong case.
Mm-hmm.
I also threw Lies of P in here.
Yep.
Because of what they were able to do with their art direction as well. But I do see why Tears of the Kingdom, I do see why everybody deserves to be on this list, is what I mean. That's not every category. We know this. We've been joking about it the whole time.
Yep.
But front runners for me are Lies of P and Alan Wake 2.
It's got to be Hi-Fi Rush.
Yeah, I'm the exact same way.
See,
It's Hi-Fi
Hi-Fi
Rush
Rush.
by a mile.
It has to be because when I played that game, in my mind, I'm like, man, if I were to like somebody were to take my brain and be like, what does your brain think you would do in art style for a game? It would be Hi-Fi Rush. It's like drawn well. The colors are crazy. I just love that art style.
And it's also the little details, like
Mm-hmm.
the environment is also moving in
Moving to
with
the
the
beat.
music. Yeah, it's moving
Mm-hmm.
to the. Don't get me wrong, all of these games have really impressive art styles.
Yeah.
To be fair though, like I'm sorry, Tears of the Kingdom looks exactly like Breath of the Wild. That's sorry.
Tears of the
That
Kingdom is brown.
yeah, that is just a fact. Um,
Alan
but
Wake
Lies,
is just black.
yeah, Lies of P
Dark.
looks like Bloodborne, and Super
In a good
Mario
way.
Bros. Yeah, and Super Mario's Wonder looks the same Super Mario's as it has for
Agreed.
a little bit. It's Hi-Fi Rush
Agreed.
by a mile for us,
I think it's
at
Hi-Fi
least for me.
Rush.
I'll
I'm
bow.
sorry. Okay, I was about to say I'm sorry to tear down like your argument there, Greg.
Right? You just beat him
But
into a pulp over there and threw him in the corner. You're
but
wrong.
yeah, like I'm sorry. Like that's
This is
it's
why my mama told me never to speak first.
In my opinion, I would go Hi-Fi Rush, Liza P,
Yeah,
and then Alan Wake.
that's fair.
That's
I
what
think what
that's what.
I'm focusing on specific visuals from Alan Wake 2 when you're in the city, like the
Yeah,
neon lights and such like that. I think I'm
very
not
good.
taking into account the whole game.
And lighting.
In
Lighting's
comparison.
incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
If
comparison to Hi-Fi Rush. That's a good point.
yeah.
Now let me ask you guys, what is like a music, a performance, an art direction
Uh-huh.
without the narrative, the storytelling to a game? So best narrative is
Best
up next.
narrative. Okay.
Which I think I have a feeling I know which one's gonna win here. Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Cyberpunk 2077, Final Fantasy 16, and Spider-Man 2. So, Craig, do you want? I was about to say this one's pretty obvious to me as well.
You think it's
Maybe
obvious?
I don't think it
I
is.
think so. Oh, you don't think it is?
Here's what I'll say.
Go ahead.
Everybody knows I love Alan Wake. I think the story is incredible. But if you want to knock it, I think you can knock it for being hard to follow. If I'm being like 100% transparent, step back and take a look at it, I'm so fully immersed in the Remedy universe that I'm like, yeah, I get where this is going. But if you pull somebody who's not played Alan Wake 1, hasn't played Control, they're going to be so lost and confused. I think personally for me, I would lean towards the story in Spider-Man.
There is no doubt that it's Baldur's Gate 3.
I mean, that's fine. I haven't played it.
The reason being is the amount of story that you can literally change with one single decision that affects everything down the line, factions, how people interact with you. Every single person has a different experience, a completely and utterly unique experience playing Baldur's Gate 3. I will not make the same decisions as any other person, probably statistically, in the game based off of who I speak to, what mission I do first or quest I do first, who I even choose to be in my party, if I run into them, whatever. If I'm thinking narrative, the amount of time and effort that it takes to weave and wind all of those different stories to create a cohesive story that travels throughout 3 acts and can be altered by a conversation, one conversation. I love Alan Wake 2's story, despite the remediness of it as well. I love Spider-Man 2's story and how you interweave the characters, both Spider-Man and also the other people that play a factor into their lives. I don't know if you can not choose Baldur's Gate 3 in this faction.
I mean, that's fair.
That's my take.
I'd be okay with Baldur's Gate winning it. I just haven't played it.
Yeah. This is where I also go Baldur's Gate 3 as well.
Okay.
So the first nomination of Baldur's Gate 3 we find in Best Narrative. And that's actually pretty good, I think, for the most part, because we go from Best Narrative to where do you take that story if it has no direction?
Mm-hmm.
Best Game Direction is where we're going next.
Okay.
And for Best Game Direction, we have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Alan Wake. But you could also say Baldur's Gate.
I have to say, I actually wouldn't say Baldur's Gate here.
Really? Okay.
I thinking too much into game direction versus narrative. I am not as strongly in the favor of Baldur's Gate 3
Okay.
in this aspect, but I'm fine with it being that. I also think Alan Wake 2 could be the winner of this as well.
Okay.
I for the specific reason of Alan Wake literally writing characters into the story and how that takes into account and what I'm learning about Saga, because I'm not done with the game yet, but what I am learning about Saga and Alan Wake as I go. I don't know. I'm kind of
Cool.
fine with either of those.
Okay. Barry.
So here's my here's
He's
my
coming in with a
issue.
wrench. Throw it in.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
coming in like Venom. He's coming in
Here's-
like Venom.
Here's my wrench in a lot of this.
Okay.
I am of, and I completely understand you guys wanting to do Alan Wake 2. And this might also be because I haven't played it. I'm going to preface
Sure.
that for sure. Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. When you read for like creative vision in game direction, I think you'd have a hard time not posting a case for Tears of the Kingdom because of what that game, that game has to be adaptable in almost every circumstance to the narrative of Baldur's Gate 3. And the fact that you're fusing stuff, like you can fuse anything and make anything in Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. This is the one category I feel like Tears of the Kingdom stands out a little bit more in, because when have we really seen the ability in like game direction and design in order to be able to create a boat, create a flying craft, create a Gundam in a game? That tool alone and the sense of discovery in that game is what that leads me for Tears of the Kingdom.
Okay.
I like
can get
that.
down with that. Yeah.
I can get down with that too. I like it.
Give it to Tears of the Kingdom.
I like that point.
Yeah.
Think about how many TikToks or YouTube videos or whatever did we see of the various things people were able to create comically, extravagantly, what have you.
And how many people thought at the beginning of the year that game was just going to clean up every award, and now it's like an afterthought.
Yeah, and I think that also has to deal with the fact that it came out later, sooner than everything else.
It got Harry Pottered.
Yeah, it did.
Harry Potter.
I still loved my time with Tears of the Kingdom, but like I have all of this recency bias toward all of these other games that are nominated in Game of the Year.
Yeah. I like that.
So Game of the Year transitions. Yeah, that was one of my one of my best ones.
That was the game of the that was transition of the year transition is what that was.
I only have so few left for this year, so I got to bring them all out now. We have Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, Marvel Spider-Man 2, Resident Evil 4, Super Mario Bros. Wonder, and The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. In where I'm sorry, but also Hogwarts Legacy deserves a spot on here as well.
It deserves something.
Mm-hmm.
I know we talked about it last week, and anybody who's made it this far into the podcast, thanks for listening. But the fact that Hogwarts Legacy pretty much got thrown out because of the fact that people can't separate art from the artist, or in this particular point, the art from the art from everything else. Like there's a middle person in between here that shouldn't have to suffer the consequences of someone else. So I'll leave it at that. Sorry guys, had to bring that up.
No, of course.
This is where things get interesting as well. But you guys go ahead and
I was going to say, do the three of us agree to just take Wonder out the running?
Yeah,
because it doesn't make sense in comparison to the other five.
It's a great game, but I don't think it. Yeah, it's not when you compare it to the other ones.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
Now
I mean, I could simple enough for me. It's Alan Wake out of all of these. I didn't play Baldur's Gate. I like Spider-Man, but I would take Alan Wake over Spider-Man. So I would go Alan Wake.
I enjoyed my time with Zelda.
Mm-hmm.
It felt really nice to finish it. And it's a very, very wonderfully crafted game. I loved Resident Evil 4. You guys know I've been gushing about that all year. I make
Yep.
some type of reference every 2 to 3 podcasts about something Resident Evil, how it made me feel, like when it was done. I wanted to play it again when I was done. But it's hard for me to stack those two in a collective argument. Maybe in the singular awards, or like when we start arguing over, like, I don't know, where we, like, if we were arguing over who thinks that Resident Evil 4 is the best game of the year, like, I would say it's me, darn it, out of the two of you.
Right.
But I don't know. I really wish I could put it there, but just it's been a tough year for games to stand out. And Alan Wake 2, Baldur's Gate 3, I think stand out a little bit more
Agreed.
on this list. Alan Wake 2. I don't know. I'm flip flopping if you can't tell. I need to stop talking because my brain is.
I
I'm just whatever I'm thinking. I'm saying. So
I have a hard time taking a remaster of a game as a game of the year. So that's why I take Resident Evil out for me. Um, Baldur's Gate again is tough for me because I haven't played it, and even when I do play it, I normally those games are not my type. So maybe I could be wrong, and I come in and I end up playing. I'm like, oh my god, it's incredible. But looking at the list right now, it's easily Alan Wake 2 for me with Spider-Man second. But if you guys picked Baldur's Gate, I would be totally fine.
See,
okay.
yeah, so my issue is here is I still haven't played Alan Wake 2.
Yep.
Um Baldur's Gate 3 I put a decent amount of time into, but also it's the type of game that, and this is coming from a strategy guy, it sometimes takes way too long
Okay.
to make a decision, or to really get moving along. I feel like sometimes. And that's why I haven't finished the game. I haven't even gotten past Act 1
Wow.
of Baldur's Gate 3. And the I like Baldur's Gate 3. Don't get me wrong, like it is D&D in video game form, and it's to a very high like performance that it does that. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't knock the game for the fact that it's not for me. Um and then again, I run into like Marvel Spider-Man 2, where like I loved recently biased. I loved that game. Like
Yeah.
I take out Resident Evil 4 and Super Mario Bros. Wonder. But like the four for me, in that fourth again is like Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
Technically though, like that's where like it's like a kind of a distant fourth, because technically, that game does have issues with frame rate, crashes, and things like that. So these three is really, it's really hard for me to vote, because out of the three games here, I played and finished one of them,
Yeah.
played a played a decent amount of another, and the other one I haven't even touched. But you guys have also said a lot about it as well. I'm kind of surprised Craig didn't like go for more of a Baldur's Gate 3, considering how much I know you loved that game. Um,
I just don't. It's gonna clean house, and I'm angry with it. Like
Yeah.
I think it's
It
I think
is.
it's gonna clean. I think reality of it cleaning house in reality is making me try not to choose it.
You know what
Um,
my issue is, and I think I've narrowed it down for me with Baldur's Gate, is when I look at a game of the year, and this is just my personal opinion, it should be a game that you could be, if somebody was like, hey, I haven't really played a good game this year. What's your favorite game of the year? It should be a game that's pretty well accessible for everyone. So in my mind, you either tell them Spider-Man or Alan Wake. I don't think you tell a normal person to go play Baldur's Gate, do you? Like an average gamer is not going to like Baldur's Gate.
it's a good point. Just coming back to the point that you even said, that Alan Wake 2's story is confusing.
Right.
if you
So
haven't played the
you
other
could
one.
say Spider-Man because
Yeah.
if somebody asked me specifically out of all those, hey, which one do you think I should play if I
It should
normally
be
play like
Spider-Man.
it's
Yeah.
Spider-Man. It's
Okay.
Spider-Man.
In
You're
that
gonna
point,
have the
yes.
most fun. You know what I mean? My pick is Alan Wake, but I think the one you're gonna have the most fun with is Spider-Man.
Yeah.
I think you're gonna get overwhelmed with Zelda. You're gonna not understand Baldur's Gate, and Alan Wake, you're probably gonna be confused. So Spider-Man might be the option, honestly.
Yeah, it's just a matter of like we talk about the technical portion of things again. People
Right.
were running around as cubes in
I
Spider-Man.
was, yeah.
Uh, I never got that glitch, and I'm
I
actually
never
upset
did
I didn't
either.
get that. I really wanted the
Yeah.
cube man
I didn't
glitch,
get
to
it
be
either.
I
honest.
had to
Yeah.
restart multiple checkpoints in Alan Wake though.
Okay, so like so both of them kind of released
Mhm.
to a weird product where Baldur's Gate 3 didn't have any of those issues. Baldur's Gate 3
Yeah, but it's
ran.
not. I don't know, man.
No, I absolutely
Yeah,
agree. I absolutely
yeah,
agree with you. For me it's between those two.
sure.
Um as well. And I don't know, is the man who's like the Kingdom Hearts fan, confusing
Yeah,
story doesn't really,
yeah,
bother me too much.
true.
Um and this is like game of the year for gamers. It's not just game of the year for the new a new gamer that's the first
Yeah,
time playing a game, which is where I as kind of like the vote here. Eventually when I play it, I really hope I have the same experience as you two. Alan Wake 2
okay,
is our game of the year.
that's a good pick. We'll see if it stands when we do our own.
Well, I already
Yeah,
did
right.
my own.
Yep.
So we will get there. We've now completed all of Jeff Keighley's tasks for voting in all of the categories. So we've talked a lot about the games that just came out. This year, game of the year, game of this, game of that. Why don't we
Yes,
talk
we have
about the
Barry.
present? Why don't we
Yeah,
talk
let's
about
do
the
the
games we
present.
played now?
Let's do it.
Um,
What'd you play, Barry? What'd you play?
Remnant
What you
2.
play?
Remnant
I
2.
played
Okay.
Remnant 2.
Okay. Um, we talked a little bit before we started, but I'm in full blown like I need to finish games mode. So I put a ton of time more into Super Mario RPG and also Persona 5 Tactica. But I also
Hey,
played one of, and I'm not the only one who said this, but one of the nominees for worst games of the year in Quantum Error this week. So there's
oh,
that.
did you? Oh my
Mhm.
gosh.
That's what I played. How about you, Craig?
So I didn't stray too much from what I have already like spoken about. What I did do, my wife and I decided midweek that we were going to get back into cyberpunk. So
Okay.
if there's anything I could speak on, it would be at least not Phantom Liberty, but somebody who had cyberpunk when it came out versus somebody who has the new version. That
Okay.
would be what I could speak on.
Okay, kind of all around the place this week. I'll go first with like Remnant 2. Because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think we're all going to be starting that game here in a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, we are.
Remnant 2 is finding its like, and I don't know what the difference is really, and I shouldn't have said it like that. I got bored playing the first Remnant. I am having a lot more fun playing Remnant 2. Uh, I feel like the difficulty is a little bit more there. Like literally anything can kill you in this game. The roguelike aspect of things where my roommate has also just started playing Remnant 2, and thanks to the Black Friday deal, I think a lot of people are playing Remnant 2.
Yep.
But the roguelike aspect of being able to start in different worlds, and you literally could talk to your friend and be like, hey, this is where I started out in this place. And it's kind of like the difference in of the experience you can have, which gets you to talk about the game, which is more than what even most games do now. There's just something satisfying too about some of the boss design, some of the. I'm really surprised that Remnant 2 didn't get nominated for more stuff, just because the difference in art direction that you can take with any of with the worlds that you visit in this game is actually kind of all over the place. Um, you visit almost space deserts to like cathedral type castle places to ruins and things like that. There is a lot going on in this game. And Remnant 2, it's too bad it took a Black Friday deal to get me to start really playing it, but It's climbing up my top 10 fairly easily. I've the classes I feel like are cool. I also enjoy, like, it obviously tells you you're going to be able to dual class. Uh the handler, you can get a dog in this game and you can pet the dog, makes it an automatic 10 out of 10.
Yep.
Uh Again, I'm kind of really surprised with how much I'm liking Remnant 2. My first experience with Remnant was not as good as this one, but this game I am enjoying playing, whether it's, even by myself or with other people. Remnant 2 is a very much like a surprise of the year for me.
Okay.
I'm excited to jump back into it. I did play it when it first came out, but I literally only played like the intro mission, and then there was some other game. So my copy did not arrive yet from all these Black Friday sales, but I'm excited to jump back into it for sure. Um, okay, so let me just knock these out. Super Mario RPG, I played a bunch of more hours. I can confirm that not a whole lot does change. You do get other characters, which kind of changes how you play the game as far as what their attacks and strengths are. Um, I think it's an important game, like we said before, but I think if you don't have the nostalgia, I can pretty much confirm you're not going to be on board with it. I'm just kind of like playing it absentmindedly now, where I'm like, well, I'm already like 9 hours in. I should probably just keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I
That's
believe the
just
game
like
isn't
how I
very long
feel.
either.
It's not. Yeah. I don't know if I'm close
Yeah.
to being done. I feel like I am. I mean, you get to have Bowser in your party. That's fun,
Yeah.
I guess. I like the characters. It is very like basic written, like basic, easy to follow. But yeah, it is what it is. Persona 5, not as far in Persona 5. I'm about 5 hours in now. I beat the first kingdom.
Nice.
And my thoughts on Persona is I really like the game. I like the tactic side of it and figuring out my moves. And I like that they slowly add more things into it. Like before, I was like, all right, I figured out I got to put all the enemies in a triangle and then I can attack them all. Like I got that in my mind. Now I'm good. And now they're adding in like, all right, well, if you're up above and you kick somebody off from down below and you have a character underneath, they'll also shoot them at the same time. So I like that it's continuously adding things for you to keep track of. I think the story's cool. I'm just running into the same problem that you guys know I have, is just it is so much talking. So much.
Yeah,
What?
And
An
that is
Atlas
Persona.
game?
Yeah, Persona Atlas.
What?
right. And my problem is like when I'm playing it, I'm like, I enjoy the story. I think the story's cool. But there's so much of it that I I'm starting to feel like that urge to start skipping, but I know I can't, right? Because if I just start skipping, I'm gonna have no idea what's going on. So what I've done to please my other side of my brain is I started skipping all those side talkings. You know what I
Okay.
mean? I
Yeah.
just immediately skip them. I'm like, nope, don't care. But I still go through and read all the main story quests. But man, there's those times where you're like, you finish a mission and then it's like 30 minutes of talking before the next one. And you're like, you've got to be kidding me.
Greg.
Just like you can cut out so much. What?
Greg, I think sometimes I take great joy in just
It's
picturing
so
you
bad.
just
Mash,
hitting,
mash.
just
Yep.
mashing the button, just being like, "Stop
Yep.
talking."
Yep. I found that like my favorite thing to do is press the right bumper so it's like it auto goes to the next one, so then I can like pull my phone out but also still listen to it at the same time of them the voiceover, so I still know what's going on. I'm like, okay, this is a little bit better than just like no voiceover whatsoever and I'm just like mashing A through the text, like reading as fast as I can, picking out the keywords and be like, okay, yep. Okay. Yeah, I know what we're doing. Okay. Yep. Cool. Next kingdom. Good. All right. But yeah, other than that, like I think it's a great game. It's fun. Um, I super enjoy all the characters I've gotten so far. I have a lot of them, and it's just been a blast. Quantum Error. I tried this one out because people said it's so bad, and I can please to report it's real bad. It's hilariously bad. Oh my god, it's so bad that like there's like 20-minute intro cutscene to begin the game, and then when you actually start playing the game, this is a first-person horror shooter, and I was like, all right, I can get down with that. And you start playing, and when you shoot the enemies, they go and fall over. It's so bad. It's made by like three brothers and I commend them for some of the intro cutscenes look okay. The voiceovers are atrocious, but I think they were doing a lot of the voiceovers themselves. It's hilarious. If you want to see like a bad time, just look up videos because it's awful. But I had to try it because there was like nothing else new. And you know how that goes. I'm like, what can I put in my GameFly queue? Oh yeah, let's throw this in and try this
Yeah.
out. So got that out of the way. But yeah, that's what I played. I'm gonna play more Persona. I'll probably finish Super Mario RPG and hate myself for doing it, but that's what I played.
Yeah, just for me, I guess, because I also finished the first Kingdom in Persona, so I'm
Okay.
excited to see what else is going on. I'm in the second one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, anyway, Cyberpunk. Um, I looked at my save file when I started it up. I just figured I have the data disk. There's a free PS5 upgrade. Phantom Liberty's $30 right now. In most places for Black Friday or slash. I guess we're in Cyber Monday now.
Mm-hmm.
Sales for this recording. And I was like, why not just try it again? My wife is on board because she liked Cyberpunk too. We just hated the glitches like everybody else. And I hadn't played that game since 2020. And it was really interesting getting back into Night City. I'm quite pleased with what
Okay.
I see. Now, I did not do Phantom Liberty DLC. There's a couple of routes you can go. You could start right from Phantom Liberty. If you're like me, I don't know why you would do that because you put 40, 50 hours into the first one, you didn't even finish it. So I'm excited to start anew. But I can definitely let you guys know when I get to that. But as far as expecting bugs and not seeing them anymore the way I used to, there's still a couple of things here and there. I saw two characters who were essentially in like each other's bodies, like trying to walk around. That was one small thing that I saw. But as far as putting some hours into the game and usually expecting bugs that would almost ruin a time and how it looks, on the PS5, the PS5 version, I should say, as well. I see the hype, guys. I know that we all kind of talked about getting back into it, especially during some lull time.
Yep.
I think I'm going to drown some hours into this. I think
Nice.
I think I'm really going to drown some hours into it. It looks great. It sounds fantastic. I saw my versions on PS5. My wife got it on Steam, so I got to see like the computer version, the PC version too. It looks fantastic on there. Definitely recommend it if you're one of the people like me who still, even after all the good hype, did not start any version of Cyberpunk as of late or restart it. So I can't wait to get into Phantom Liberty. I want to get my character up, and then really get into that storyline, see the Idris parts and all that. So I'm super excited.
Barry, did you beat the DLC?
I'm in it. I'm in
Okay.
the DLC right now. Again, I agree with everything Craig said. Like, it is kind of weird to go back into the game and be expecting all of the bugs and stuff you found, but also finding a much smoother experience. And I've been really liking all the overhaul stuff that they did with Phantom Liberty. Like, this truly is kind of a almost a No Man's Sky sort
Yeah.
of portion of the game, but I don't see it needing to be like I don't see them needing to do more like
Mhm.
with it like they did with No Man's Sky. Like we've gotten something that I think pleases a lot more people, and compared to having being able to return an open game, for what seems like the first time in a millennia,
Yep.
it's definitely made a comeback, and I'm quite impressed.
Yeah,
Agreed.
I'm still in the wait camp because I still have it, but I'm not gonna lie, like I'm seeing these videos where like I saw one the other day, dude's driving on the beach, he jumps out of his car, slow mos, runs up and like cuts four dudes, all in slow mo, then runs back and jumps in his car and drives away. And I was like,
Descenistan, yeah.
this doesn't even look like the same game we played back in 2020. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what is going on? And I was like, man, maybe I do need to try it out again.
That's the thought process I had without seeing
Yep.
that video, but just like we
Yeah.
seeing
It's
something
not
else talk
yeah,
about it.
it's just not till later. Like
Okay.
that's going to be the thing. Like you have to be willing to you can either start from your old game file, which you have. I decided to start anew. You don't really start to see some of the newer stuff come into play until you get later into the game.
Okay.
much of the beginning of the game is still kind of a slow introductory to a lot of stuff. But the fun weapons, all of the cyberpunk stuff that they added to it, it really doesn't come into play till after.
Okay, perfect, cool.
There is one part that I'm not looking forward to getting to, and I think you guys know it though. It's the first heartbreak in the game.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. True.
I already, like I said, luckily we're past that for me. But those are the games we played this week. When it comes to TV and movies, I will be the first to admit I haven't gotten time really to watch anything. Lately, we just got through the holiday season, which is a busy time for me, so I apologize for that. But I will let you guys take the stage.
All right, so I went ahead and watched Good Burger 2. Reliving my childhood, and then
I didn't realize that was out.
Yep, that's on Paramount Plus, I believe. And
Oh
then,
my god, it is.
And then after that, I'm about halfway through. I'm in anime corner, baby.
Let's go.
I'm halfway through Blue Eyed Samurai.
Hey, all right, cool.
That-
I haven't started watching that yet, but Craig's anime corner. It is.
Yeah, what'd you watch, Craig?
Blue-Eyed Samurai, not fully.
Woo!
I'm like, I think I'm like 3 or 4 episodes in.
Okay.
And I finished Scott Pilgrim. I could save us some time there because I know we're getting a little long on the podcast. It's amazing. Everybody watch it. That's all I have to say about Scott Pilgrim. But you and I could tag team Blue-Eyed if you would like.
All right. Good Burger 2. Here's what I'm going to say about Good Burger 2. If you are like, I'm just going to assume Craig watched Good Burger. I know you did.
I dragged my parents to see it in the theaters.
Okay, here's the thing. If you grew up with Good Burger and you watch Good Burger, this movie's pretty good. I'm not going to lie. It's exactly what you expect. It's corny. It's cheesy. Nothing's changed. But the amount of cameos in this movie, oh my God, there's so many. So many. And they're all great. I loved it, man. I thought it was just so well done. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to embrace the corniness. And like, I know those jokes were bad back in the day and they're just as bad now, but it doesn't matter. It's Good Burger, man. It's Keenan and Kel. Give me all that. See what I did there.
I got that reference.
Well done.
I just don't know if you don't have an affinity for Good Burger or Keenan and Kel or all that, I don't know if you're going to put this movie on as an adult and be like, yeah, that's funny. You probably won't. But for those of us who do enjoy that and want to relive that, it's a pretty good, faithful way to go about that. So definitely check that out. Yeah, let's do Blue Eyed Samurai, man.
It's good.
Dope.
It's dope.
You know what it is for me? It's the art style is so cool because it almost reminds me of like a almost a Disney animated style, right? It's not your typical animated like hand drawn. It's like computer generated, but it's super gory and man, is it good. I don't even know what to say. It's just great.
It's a Disney animated Samurai Jack, but if Samurai Jane.
It's funny. I got that feeling. I got that feeling just from the previews of watching it.
Yep.
It's so good. And yeah, you're right. A little rated R. There's a little bit of nudity for those of you that you can see that Netflix that we can be on Netflix, so there can be that nudity aspect, but it's just your classic, lone samurai that you slowly learn about. They have the tough loner attitude, and obviously everybody or either wants to give them trouble or befriend them. But the interesting thing about the Blue-Eyed Samurai is it is incorporating the fact that she is a blue-eyed human in feudal Japan. That would be feudal Japan, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So she's dealing with the fact that she's in a mixed in that aspect too, and then she's also very good at her craft. So obviously, you're going to have people who are looking down on her as she goes about her journey. You learn very relatively quickly as to why she's journeying. Her backstory is great. She has an amazing sensei gentleman as well. And it's just you combine that with some really believable and great sword fighting scenes and such like that. Like there was a scene that they had where you can tell that her build is not as large as some of the people she fights, because some people are just taller than her and such like that, but she still, when she overcomes them, you could see the pain of the mismatch of her still overcoming them. Like she won that battle, but you could see what she had to go through and like salting the wounds later on, because that person was just a larger person than them, maybe a couple inches taller, a couple of 20, 30 pounds heavier or whatever. But it's very interesting to watch, and like Craig said, it's very, very amazing to look at as well in terms of the art style.
You know what I thought too? Can we get this style, all of it, and make that the Ghost of Tsushima anime? How dope would that be?
Yeah.
That'd be dope.
Oh man! And also, I just want to say the sidekick is really cool. I enjoy him a lot.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, he's funny.
He's hilarious. He's like a comedic relief.
He
Everybody
is.
go watch this, whether you like anime or not. Take that
I'll be
Yes.
from me.
watching it. Yeah,
It's
I'll be
real
watching it.
good.
All right. Well, what's not as good as that? Unfortunately, we're going to probably end the podcast here, guys. I appreciate everybody for listening and your support on your podcast listening platform of choice. If you feel so inclined, please make sure to leave a review or share it. And if you're watching on YouTube, please make sure to like, subscribe, comment. Let us know our Game Awards. Did it suck? Do you think we're wrong about any of the categories? What games have we not talked about that maybe deserve a mention on Game of the Year stuff? Maybe something they missed, other than some of the Hogwarts Legacy stuff that we've talked about. But thank you guys again for watching and supporting us. We will see you guys next time.
See ya.
Bye.
Bye, guys.